What's going on, everybody? My name is Wyatt and welcome back to Wyatt Reacts, and today's video is going to be a little bit different. I am technically a reaction channel, I technically want to be, but I wanted to do something a little bit different. I wanted to actually do like a tier list, or like a list of all the K-dramas that I've seen. This channel will kind of be like a reaction channel for a lot of things. I'll do all sorts of things. I'm willing to watch different music videos, watch different like funny clips, but I will mainly be like a reaction channel. I won't do like any vlogs. If I do vlogs, it'll be very later down the road and it won't be like anything too soon. I kind of want to get a K-drama reaction out honestly as soon as possible, but because they're so long of episodes, like at least an hour, to push in like the shortest of like decently long episodes, some of them can be like at least 45, they can take pretty long to edit. And I've edited one before and I barely got halfway done in like a matter of a couple days, and I'm still new to editing and obviously with this channel, and so I wanted to do something that'll be kind of easier on me. I want to do like a list of all the K-dramas that I've seen and how I personally rank them for like this last year, for 2024. But I want to do like a list of all the K-dramas that I've seen in 2024, not just the K-dramas in 2024, but at least like whatever K-dramas I watched in the span 2024. Like I want to list off K-dramas that could have been made in 2018, 2016, 2013, 2022. Like, it doesn't matter as long as, but like all the K-dramas that I've seen in just that 1 year, I want to talk about them because I feel like I want to just talk about them as a whole and actually get them off my chest and nitpick certain things like that. So I'm hoping this is like a cool kind of fun video, and I can maybe get people to kind of give me suggestions for shows and that can, you know, relate to how I feel about the shows. And I don't know, maybe it'll be a fun time. I don't know. So I'll find out after this video and see how it does. So hopefully you guys enjoy this video, and I will just start getting into making and sharing my list. And before I actually get started, I want to make this known. K-dramas really changed my life, and I would even say saved my life, because they made me look into what I want to do in the future for my life. I never really thought ahead in life. I never kind of stuck to a plan. I kind of always just did things day by day, and whatever came. But with K-dramas, for some reason my brain kind of switched and it made me think differently. But also, I'm also a very like carefree person. I kind of am a free spirit. I'll do whatever I want, say whatever I want, be whoever I want. I'm very annoying to my family, and they will protest to that. I am super annoying. I've always been annoying. I've always been loud. I've always been off the charts, and I've always been this type of person to just be myself. And so I was always in tune with myself as a kid and obviously as a teenager. But when I watched K-dramas this past year for the first time, because when I got into K-dramas, they were for the first time, they really changed me, and I was able to dive deeper than myself and figure out who I am truly as a person. This past year was probably the biggest self-improvement and self-worth value of myself that I've ever had in my entire lifetime. I have a lot of life left, so obviously I can't say my entire lifetime, but I will say at least for my teenage years, I would say this has probably been the most self-reflective year, this past year, that's ever happened in my life. And so that's why I also wanted to share this, because this can be very relatable, because some people might feel the same way but they don't have anyone to relate to, and I also want to just get that off. So hopefully people can kind of relate to this and we can kind of bond because of it. So hopefully this is a good video for people like that. So without procrastinating or anything like that, I want to get right into my list. So the first ever K-drama that I actually watched that made me want to continue watching K-dramas was actually a very popular K-drama. It's called Itaewon Class. Many people have watched it. It was very popular back in 2020, and I wasn't into K-dramas back then. I always had an image on K-dramas and on shows that were in different languages. I always felt like they were going to be very hard to understand and really just connect with. And especially with subtitles. And anime helped me out with that. And then when I started watching Itaewon Class, it really opened my eyes, because it opened my eyes to a whole new world of entertainment. And I loved the story, I loved the characters, I loved the plot. You can really resonate with it depending on who you are as a person. It was really fun. It was a really fun show to just sit back and watch. You could feel bad for the characters, but then you can also understand where some characters were coming from, and at that case you were always feeling bad, or you were either trying to just understand them and figure out why they were making those choices. And I felt like Park Seo-roy, which is what Park Seo-joon played for the main character, he played such an amazing character with emotion, with story, with character development, with everything. And I loved his character as a whole. When Kwon Nara's character Suha came into play you know, with his in class with him, and kind of shaped him into becoming someone different. She brought that aspect of, it was always a misunderstanding, and she always had good intentions with him. She never wanted to like harm him or do anything bad to him, but she always had good in her heart, and I loved her and anything, and I always felt like she was always meant for him. But then came another female lead for the main character, and her character was a sociopath, and her name was Iso, and she very much changed his perspective on a lot of things, on how to think ahead, and change his perspective on how he wanted to run a pub and just everything. And so I feel like she really molded him into someone better, and then, you know, with the romance that this show added on to it, it made it 10 times better. There's some people that obviously kind of maybe dislike it and have that opinion about it, but I personally loved it. It was my very first K-drama that I properly watched, and wanted to continue watching shows because of it. And so that's why it's highly on a list, or it's maybe not even on a list, but it's near and dear to my heart, because it started to shape who I am. So that's why it's a show that I want to recommend and honestly share with people. So to take a little bit of like a step back from what Itaewon Class's plot and its story is and what its characters are, I want to also share another show that again is very near and dear to my heart to shape who I am. It's a show called Bugosol. It's a very underrated show. People don't really know about it, but it's a very amazing show, amazing plot, everything. I personally love it. It's on Netflix. At least the last time that I checked it was on Netflix. It might be gone, but at least it used to be. It stars Kwan Nara, that was in Itaewon Class, so I already had a preconception of her, but I wanted to exclude that out of my mind, because I didn't want her to make me think that her character was going to be something that she wasn't in this show. And so, but I loved her character regardless. The main premise of it is there's this creature called the Bugosol, which they are immortal beings that have powers and all that kind of stuff, and they have no heart, and so they can be around for hundreds and hundreds of years, and there's someone that always turned to Bugosol. In order for that Bugosol to either, for them to become human again from what they used to be, they either have to make someone else a Bugosol, or they never can. It's either make someone else a Bugosol or they don't. But the main character, which he's played by Lee Jin-wook, he was in the newest season of Squid Game in season 2. He was in Sweet Home, and I know he was in a couple other things as well. He's a decently long actor that's been around for a hot minute. But he's very underrated. But his character is the Bugosol. He doesn't want to he wants to become human, but he wants to get revenge on the person that turned him. So he wants to find this person and take them out and get revenge, because the person that was the Bugosol before them that basically became human, when they become human, they get a heart. So then they're able to be reincarnated. So that's what most Bugosols want, is to be reincarnated so they can have a heart. And because he's now a Bugosol, he can't be reincarnated. There's backstory with his family and all that kind of stuff, which is the main plot point. But the chemistry for me between the two actors, it was done incredibly well, because you could tell there was tension, but you could tell there was something there, and you don't know if it's going to be explored or not. It's very emotional, at least for me. I cried at the very first episode. At the very end of the very first episode, I cried. And then I was crying throughout the entire series, I was crying throughout the entire episodes, and it was a very emotional ride. It was the very first K-drama that I ever cried with. And I had seen some before then, between Itaewon Class and Bugosol, but I never cried. This was the very first one that I cried with. And so that's why it's honestly near and dear to my heart, because it's the first one that made me emotional. And so that's why I want to share that, because it's a very underrated show. I never hear people talk about it. No one ever says anything on lists or anything. And when they do, they don't really give it the credit that it deserves. It is a very well-deserving show that deserves to be watched and praised because of its casting and of the supernatural entities that they are. It's shot well. I wanted to share that one because it's such a good show. The next show I wanted to share was a show that I started to watch after I took my hiatus off of K-dramas. I took a hiatus off of K-dramas after I took a break for about, I think, 2 months, 3 months, and I came back and I watched a show called Heartbeat that's on Amazon Prime Video. The main premise is there's this vampire that wants to be human. He wants to feel a heartbeat. He wants to, become basically human. And so he tries anything about lore and finding people and doing all he can to actually become human. He does something where he has to stay in a coffin for so many years, and then after the years are up, he can open the coffin and he should be human. He does it based on what the legend said or what whoever told him about it. And something goes wrong. Main thing about it is it's a woman that's behind it all. There's a story behind this woman. She hasn't had the best life. She's came across his house and goes to the basement and finds this coffin. She accidentally opens it. He comes out. The story unfolds with a vampire and a human. You get a little bit of plot twist, but you also get a lot of emotional stuff. It's very comedy oriented, but it also has those serious moments that you can't deny that are important to the show in general. It threw me off when I watched it because I was expecting it to be like a very lighthearted supernatural show with vampires, and it had emotional stuff in it, and it completely threw me off. I had already known that K-dramas can be very emotional already because I had seen a few before then, but I didn't know that this one was going to be that. With this show, I was able to meet Taehyun, which he is a member of the K-pop group 2PM from JYP Entertainment. He did such an amazing job in this drama. I'm super proud of him. He, to me, acted really well for the role that he had as a vampire. I loved his energy. I loved his demeanor. He was very comedy oriented, but he also had that kind of seductory kind of feel to him because he's very good looking. Whenever there was like serious moments or when there were like really heart-pounding moments, because he's good looking, it made it more monumental. And the same thing can be said with the female actress. And the actress's name is Won Ji-an. And she did such an amazing job. She is also in season 2 of Squid Game as well. She's the woman with the nose piercing that tragically has something happen to her in Squid Game. But she played an amazing role in this drama. This came out in 2023. It was pretty new, but for last year, for my main year of K-dramas, it was very monumental for me because how it progressed, it was not like any other K-drama that I ever thought of or I would have ever thought of ending or just entirely going like I ever thought. It really will take you for a ride of emotions, and you know, I cried with this one. I had a lot of experiences with this one. This one hit me different than any other like deep shows. It's very good in that regard. The second to last show that I'm gonna actually share with you guys that held a deep impact in my heart this past year. Next show is The Glory. The Glory is a very famous one. It was on Netflix. It came out in 2 cores, and just like people's reaction to it in the first episode, it is super dark. It is sad, and just like the show's title, you want there to be glory. And I don't want to give proper spoilers or anything like that for people that are just clicking on this to get info or to get information about the shows, but it very much is a show that you feel for her, because the main premise of it is the female lead, Moon Dong-eun, she's a little girl in high school that's getting bullied by these other, rich people, and she tries to get out of it and go to teachers and try to get help, but no one will listen to her because, for one, the kids are rich and they can just cover it up, but also she has nowhere to go. Her family is a mess and there's nothing for her. So she ends up just being surrounded by these bullies, and their bullying gets super bad, like exponentially bad. If I'm not mistaken, The Glory is actually based off of real events that happened to some women or some girls in school in Korea or all over the world, and it's super sad. It will mess you up when you think about that when you're watching it. Like, this happened to other girls or other people in the world. It's insanely sad, and it broke me down. I cried with this show a lot, and so, but it's so good when it wants it to be intense, and it always has that intensity every episode. You want to keep watching. When I first watched it, I was very confused. The first episode, I was very tired when I watched it, and so I was very out of it. And so then when I fell asleep and I wanted to watch more of it, I couldn't remember at all what happened in the first episode. When I rewatched the first episode, I remembered everything and I was locked in. Once you pay attention to it, you never want to just leave. You want to finish. You want to see how the show will end. And that's what they really captured with this show, is that once you start, you're wanting to just speed run through it and you will never want to stop. The main characters of this show is Moon Dong-eun, which is played by Song Hye-kyo. She's been in shows like Descendants of the Sun that came out in 2016. She was in The Wind Blows in Winter, or some show like that in like 2013. She's been in a couple other things as well. But she really captured bullying to a T, like extreme bullying to a T. She really made it. She's very versatile with how she acts. She can be very emotional, be very scary as well. No matter what kind of scene she had, you could always feel that she was putting her all into every episode, every scene, everything she was doing. She had what it takes to make the episode and the entire show amazing. And that's what I loved about her acting style, is that you can tell it's raw, you can tell it's real. And when you look at the bloopers, that is actually like real. When you see them and you actually get behind the scenes, they do say that most of that stuff actually like felt real to them and it hit them. And even if say they don't say it, you can tell that it's a different kind of emotion than like acting crying or acting angry. It's different, and you could feel that with it. They really convey that emotion really well. The other main, I would say main two cast members is a doctor by the name of Juyo Jung, and he is basically the son of the director of the hospital. So he's kind of from a rich family, but he has a little bit of a past, and he has a little bit of a dark side and all that kind of stuff. But he's played by Lee Do-hyun. Lee Do-hyun has been in a lot of dramas that are really amazing. He knows how to portray emotion really well, and he portrayed it probably the best out of all the shows he's been in. The Glory is probably his best when it comes to emotion and raw emotion, at least for me personally. I love all the dramas he's been in, but for me this is probably his best, like, emotion one wise, at least to me. He captured it well. He was able to have chemistry with the main female lead. She clicked off of him, he clicked off of her. It made the show come alive with their relationship and their journey, and it made it really awesome to see their progression towards life and to a better future. The main bully of the show is Park Yeon-jin. She is played by Lim Ji-yeon, and she is basically a, like I said, bully, a really bad bully. She's the main person of the friend group that's like the main bad bully, but she's played amazingly. I do know that the actress had a lot of backlash because of it, because of her role. She was viewed very skewedly, and it's an awful thing to go through, but she played her role amazingly. She portrayed a bully, not in a rude way or in a creepy way, but she played a bully to a T, and was able to portray all that kind of raw emotion of a bully in real time for people to see. So it was really awesome to see that kind of come to life in a raw and emotional way. All those three characters really just meshed well, and when they have scenes together, you can feel the chemistry, you can feel their acting ability on display for everyone to see. So it was really dope to experience this show for the first time. And this was back when I first started my journey on K-dramas. It was maybe like my fourth show, and like it completely shocked me because I didn't know shows can be this dark, or that it can be this intense, and it really changed my perspective on everything. The last and final show that I'm actually going to share with you guys is, for me personally, the most emotional show I have ever watched in my entire life when it comes to K-dramas, and that show is called The Smile Has Left Your Eyes. It has another name, and the name is 100 Million Stars from the Sky. I don't necessarily know how that portrays to Smile Has Left Your Eyes, but it hits deep regardless if you've seen the show. It is such an emotional show. I cried so much in this drama. It brings out deep emotion within you, and you cannot stop once you cry the first time, you will never stop crying the entire show. Like most shows in general, American shows, any kind of genre of shows and movies, they have characters that have past trauma or past darknesses that they have tried to overcome, and they find people to help them. And that's kind of what this show is. It follows a guy by the name of Kim Moo-young, and he, like I said, has a very dark past and tragic past, and he just is struggling, and he's very dark. His mindset is not there, and he doesn't have a very healthy mindset when it comes to life and people and relationships and everything. And he is played by So Eun-guk, he's in Doom at Your Service, he's in Remember You or Remember Me, he's in The King's Faces, he's also in Death's Game. He's in a lot of stuff, and he's also an artist, and he's an amazing artist. He's an amazing actor. He knows how to portray emotion well, and I loved him in this. This drama is probably my best and most favorite of his performances in general. He knows how to portray everything well, and his face just fits it, not in a weird or creepy or disrespectful way, but he knows how to portray that kind of emotion and that face feeling towards the audience really well. The female lead that he is paired up with is Yoo Jin-kang, which she's played by another famous actress that just came out with a couple dramas, and that is Jung So-min. She just did Love Next Door, and I know she did something recently as well, but I can't really remember the name, but she mainly did the most popular Love Next Door. She's also an amazing actress that knows how to portray emotion well, and when these two just clash, you can tell that they had so much fun filming this, and you can tell that they really brought their A game when filming this, and you can just, it hits heavy, it hits deep, especially when you know all the characters' trauma and their entire story. I don't, honestly, this is the one show that I can't really like speak story-wise of, because you'd have to experience the show yourself. And I don't mean that in a, oh, I'm not going to tell you. I honestly don't, I can't, because if I tell you anything, it'll kind of just spoil you, and I get that that's kind of what this is, but I want to, it's more just me telling you the show and what it means to me and how I felt about it. And to me, this show just had that feeling about it, right? The next main character that is kind of associated with all the other characters, he goes by the name of Yoo Jin-kook, which he is played also by a really famous actor that's been in the biz for a long time. He's played by Park Sung-woon, I think, and he's been in a couple things. I can't remember exactly off the top of my head when I'm filming this, like what he's been in, but he's been in a lot of things that I've seen nowadays, and he plays, not as a spoiler, but he does play as older brother to Jung So-min's character. There's that dynamic with those two that is very different, but it's so, they have such chemistry. They have brotherly chemistry that ironically, you would never think that they had, but they have amazing chemistry together. I thought it was weird when I first saw these actors together. I was like, there's no way that this person and this person are gonna mesh well. And then they made this show come alive like I've never seen a show come to life. The entire way through, I was on edge. I was tearing up. And that's the thing, you might not cry every episode, but you will cry. And when you cry, you will cry a lot. You might cry on the second episode, and then you might not cry for the next 2-3 episodes, or maybe even like an episode, and then you'll cry, or you'll tear up, possibly, in the next episode. And then 4 episodes later, you'll just bawl your eyes out. It just has those, it never just has a little bit, it has a lot of crying. And especially with the conclusion, like I said, I can't really get into everything with this show, but I will say this show is probably my best performance by Sung-kook, and I think he just did such an amazing job. I love the story. It's just such an amazing show. This show came out in 2018, which is really long ago for a drama on this caliber, I would say, to come out so long ago. It has everything that you would never think of a show being, with like plot, pacing, everything. Like it just has everything. And it's such an amazing drama. You would never expect a show like this to be on this level. This is why I have to talk about this show in general, because it's such a good show. So that'll do it for this video. I wanted to just get K-dramas out there and really just express myself when it came to these K-dramas that I really love so much, because they're such amazing shows and they hit deep within me and changed who I am. All these K-dramas combined, I would say, have molded me into a person that I acknowledge myself as a very emotional person. I get emotional over littler things and heavy things, and it'll vary between each and everything depending on when I'm emotional or when I'm angry or however I am. But K-dramas, they really brought to life like who I am as a person. I would not be any happier with all this K-dramas that I've seen. I'm happy that it changed my life, and if I don't want people to take the saved my life too harshly or too in a wrong way, because I know when people say it saved my life, it doesn't necessarily mean like I was on the brink of death and it saved me, because I think saved can have a lot of meanings. It guided me in a different path than what I was going. K-dramas made me want to learn so much more about myself from watching so many dramas. It made me think deep within myself and confront a lot of things I never thought of confronting. And I mean, that's what shows can do to you in general. If you're not one that used to watch shows when you were a kid, or you're now watching shows a lot, they might hit different because you couldn't comprehend them when you were little, and now that you're older and you have a lot of knowledge and experience nowadays, they just hit different. And you can't express that kind of feeling into just words. It comes with action, it comes with expression, and it's a lot of things in one that you just can't ball into one singular word. And so that's why I wanted to do this video, because I feel like everyone has been in this kind of situation with not just shows, but just things in general, where they don't know if they want to express it and don't know how, or how they feel about it, and they don't know if anyone's ever related to this. And I just want to let people know, I have related to a lot of things, not just shows. I was a kid that just never did anything, and experiencing a lot of things nowadays as a teen, when I am now, it can really change your life. So I want people to know out there that be who you are, and always express what you like in your way of doing it. Never restrict yourself because you think it's not the right thing to do, or it's just weird, or it's just not natural. Just do it. Like, I'm getting out of my comfort zone and making a video like this when a couple years ago I would have never done this. I would have never decided to make a video expressing my love for K-dramas or for shows like this, and expressing the fact that I'm a very emotional person. I'm able to express that nowadays because I acknowledge that within myself, and I'm proud to say that I am an emotional guy, because some guys aren't emotional. Some guys are, but they can be a rare breed. But when they are emotional, and then when they acknowledge that they are, you can tell that that's a pretty nice and amazing person. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed my little spiel on all the shows, and hopefully you guys maybe want to check those shows out or just continue watching. I will be posting more videos like of K-dramas and all that kind of stuff, so stay tuned for that. I will be doing more anime. If anything, I can do, if you guys like this video of a K-drama overall list, I can actually show you guys my tier list that I have for my K-dramas, all in all. From shows from like 2013 to 2024 to 2000, like, it's a wide list of all shows, and I can give you guys my list. If you guys like this video, I can honestly give you that, you know, as a memento for liking this video and enjoying this video and anything. So if you guys do want that, you know, like, drop a comment down below or like this video a lot, and I will honestly get that out, because I would love to share my top 10, my top 20, my top 5 even. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Drop a like, hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed this content, and I will catch you guys next time on a new video. Peace.